Hey, our countdown, 12 days to the grand final. Number 12, two-time Destin Ferris winner, former Melbourne skipper, hardest bloke I played footy with. Spent a lot of time in the Melbourne Footy Club footy department as well, so it'll give us a good insight into how they've built this side. Toddy Viney's been good enough to join us. Welcome there, big fat rat.
Hello, Gazza. Tim, good to be talking to you.
Nice to talk to you. We're excited, or we both are. Tim's excited on our behalf for both the Dogs and the Demons, but today it's the Demons. Just first of all, yeah, boy was superb, Jack. He was back to his very, very best, and I know you're a hard marker, but you must have been proud of the way he went about it on the weekend.
Yeah, no, he's had a tough sort of couple of years trying to get his body right, so another year where it's been interrupted, but he's been slowly building towards this back end of the year, and he's played a couple of good finals, and let's hope he can play another good one in a couple of 12 days' time.
Hey, Todd, did you go down the paddock, light a bonfire and sit there and watch it, listen to the radio, or is it easy for you to sit there and just watch?
It's not easy, Tim. You'd know that. It's not easy watching your team and your son play, but no, I was abandoned. I was up on the farm by myself watching in my lounge room, and I didn't crack a beer until after the siren, but it was certainly a fine performance.
It's so much easier to watch on your own, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I just get worked up too much. I'm half glad that it's the game's in Perth, so I don't have to put myself through actually being there. But no, I sort of say that tongue-in-cheek. It would be lovely to be there to see the Demons run out and hopefully get the job done. And it'd be great to see all our supporters to be able to experience, hopefully a great win. It's going to be a great game. But unfortunately, we're in the times of COVID, and we just got to take it as we come, which the team's done fantastically well this year.
Yeah, no, they have. And we are in unusual times. I know Gary's love for the Melbourne Football Club. I talk to him about it all the time, and it comes across when he's talking about him. And I know how much you love the Melbourne Football Club as well. What does this group of players, this team, what they've been able to do this year, how's it spoken to you?
I've obviously, like Gary, played my whole career at the club, and then spent another 9 years, which finished at the end of 2019 at the club, trying to ultimately, put the club in a position to, as a player and then as an administrator, to win a flag and to be respected in the competition. And there's certain times throughout our history we've been a superpower, and then some other times we've been really competitive and haven't quite got the chocolate. So it's been all about trying to get that grand final glory and put us back as a really respected team in the competition. And the players that have played, in particular this year, but over the last 3 or 4 years, 5 years, that have started to turn the wheel and put us back to where hopefully we belong. But they've shown enormous resilience. They've all players. I think if you went through the whole list, at certain times they've all shown they've had to come back from some setbacks and shown enormous resilience. And this year, they've been flying to Queensland and then sitting on the tarmac and then flying back and playing games and winning in them and not letting any excuse get in the way. I think that's been showing tremendous courage and resilience. We've tried to build a team that represents the Melbourne Footy Club and who we want to be, and they've done that magnificently.
And I don't want to embarrass Todd, but he's played a big role in this. Wispy has. He was a hard football player and a hard ass around the club, which at a time when you're trying to re-establish yourself as a footy club, you need someone that's not going to compromise, and that was certainly the hallmark of Toddy. Can we talk about Simon Goodwin for just a minute? We hear a lot about Bevo, who's, I think, one of the more fascinating characters, and we love what he's been able to do at the Dogs. He was under pressure for whatever reason at the start of the year from some quarters. You've had a lot to do with him. You've worked really closely with him. What makes him a very good coach? Because I think he's been undersold.
He definitely has. It's been one of my great frustrations over the period of time that he hasn't got his right due in his role and all this. He's one of the best footy people I've come across. I was lucky enough to coach him in Adelaide When I went to the Adelaide Crows, I was coaching midfield, and he was captain of the Crows. One of my roles early days was to try and reshape the midfield, and I kicked him out of the midfield to the half-back flank. And just his whole persona, the way he took that and went on to, I think he was an All-Australian on the half-back flank in his second last year, and the way that he was the captain of the club, that he challenged the coaches around the environment, trying to create the best possible environment for the club and the players. The way he took young guys like Bernie Vince under his wing when he was a bit of a rat bag early days, and try and shape him into an AFL player. So I had enormous respect for him as a player, and my time with him at the Crows for 2 years. And then he's come over to be a succession coach under Roosie, and that time was a lot of people have got views on succession and that, but both those two guys, when they spent time together, it was all about culture, creating the right environment, and that was perfectly in sync with what we were thinking, that we just needed to create the right culture and identity, and then results would come from that. And he's got a great empathy for the player. You know, he's built great relationships with the players. It's been frustrating to hear people talk about how, you know, he's a bit mundane in his press conferences and all this sort of stuff, but he's got great footy knowledge, great footy acumen, and he builds great relationships with his players. And unless you can have great relationships with your players, doesn't matter what tactical nous you have, they won't play for you. And he's also got that with his staff. The staff will, he lets staff have their head. He's not a control freak. He hasn't got an ego. And so a lot of those things have been really important for footy club. And now we're seeing the result of the club sticking fat. You know, there was a bit of pressure, a bit of noise, unwarranted in my opinion, but they've stuck fat. And history shows that clubs that have got the guts to stay true to their plan ultimately will get success. So he's been a remarkable part of the footy club's success, and hopefully he can get his right whack on the weekend.
You summarised him beautifully, Todd. How seriously do you think Melbourne got the wobbles with him last season?
Well, I'm not sure internally, Tim. As I said, I've been out for 2 years, so I'm not sure. But you know, I can only hear the jungle drums beating on top of the hill when I was down by the dam, and you know, it sounded like there was numerous people in different areas of football making noise around coaches under pressure, and he was on the top of the list. So I think there's always something in that, but I think it's been fantastic how the club's stuck fat and allowed him to do what he's got to do and give the team the opportunity to get back to where they've been.
Did you play in that 1994 final between the Dogs and the D's at the MCG?
Yes, Tim, I did. It was a very memorable game.
How many, Gary kicked 10 that day. How many did you wobble forward to him on his chest?
Yes, I think Gary, it might have been one of the early ones that I managed to get to him on my left foot, which I wasn't renowned as a great exponent of the left foot pass. But I hit him on the left foot, and he said, "This is going to be my day."
Seriously, when I watched it again yesterday
for the 20th time this week,
you gave me about three wobblers on the old left, 3 floaters.
Yeah, I know, I was spinning beautifully, Gary.
Hey, it is going to be massive. We appreciate it. One quick, because you've had such close, and I love that summation on Simon Goodwin. Yeah. I really do. I think you spoke beautifully there. Just, I'm trying to put into words the Nathan Jones situation, and we know this is a team sport, and Tim summed it up beautifully. There's just, sometimes there's no fairy tales, and the fairy tale would have been that he's a part of it, but he's had to come home. Not had to, he's chosen to come home for all the right reasons. But that is the only disappointment, that he won't get to play on Saturday week.
Yeah, it's a cruel game. You know, I was at Hawthorn coaching when Croft got the last fairy tale that I can remember. You know, he played his last game. Yeah. He just got to the line, and he played in the 2008 grand final, which was fantastic. But we all know, we've been around footy a long time, there's not too many fairy tales. But I think Jonesy will understand that the club's bigger than the individual, and he's been a great servant of the club. But you know, it's testament to the young guys that have come in, that have sort of forced their way in, and hopefully will do him proud on the weekend. And Jonesy's got both of his 2 twins coming, so I'm sure he's going to be really happy. But if we can manage to get the win for him, and I think you've mentioned, Gaz, some of the people that have not with us anymore. It'll be a fantastic result for the club. But he's been a magnificent contributor to where we are right now.
Beautifully said, mate. Spoke fantastically well. It was a great chat. Enjoy the next week or so. Give our best to Jack, and we just put every other bias aside for the moment. Let's hope we get the result in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, no, fingers crossed. We're looking forward to the challenge. I think we're ready.
Good on you, mate. Todd Viney there. He's now number 12, 12 days to the grand final, so that's a nice start to proceedings with. He's played a really big role, the Melbourne Footy Club, and when sometimes you're at a footy club and things are a bit tense and you don't know which way to go, and some tiptoe around one way and then someone tiptoe and you need someone to come in and go, bang, this is what's happening.
He's the man.
That bloke.
I love what he had to say about Simon Goodwin there too, because that's coming from somebody that knew him as a player and what he stood for, and then somebody that's seen him close up and personal too as a coach and what he stood for and his relationships as a coach. And that was one of the criticisms, wasn't it? Like, he's too passive. Can he motivate players, or is he too close to his players? Can he deliver the serious, strong message to a player too? I think we can put all that behind us now.